Hello guys, this is Moro from Infotech.com, and on this video we'll look at the new features and changes included on Windows 10 build 17.063. This newest version of Windows 10 is part of the next feature update due in 2018, which currently we know it as the Redstone 4 or version 1803. So there is a lot going on this build, so let's have a closer look at the most worthy improvements. In this release, the Cortana notebook has been updated with a new card-based interface, and the list and reminders are now listed under the Organizer tab, and all the other settings have been moved to the new Manage Skills section. Also, Cortana's collection now is merged with List on a single interface, but it seems that it's still under construction and there are not too many features that you can use in this experience. In this release, you also are going to notice that your account picture appears on the left rail of the Cortana interface that allows you to sign in and sign out of the Cortana experience. Now the taskbar also uses the acrylic material, part of the Fluent Design system. And let me see if I can show you this. So you can see at the bottom, you can see right here how the new transparency looks like. And you're also going to see the same acrylic material on the clock and calendar, volume, my people, input, and on the share flyout. Also, if an update appears on Windows Update, now you will see an icon on the notification area notifying you about that situation. You can right click on that icon to get access to the restart and schedule, or to open the Windows Update in the Settings tab. Also, now you can right click on the Windows Defender icon to get access to different options, including Quick Scan, Update Now, access to the notification settings, and to open the Windows Defender Security Center. In addition, starting with this build, the network flyout and the lock screen, let me see if I can just access that. I'm going to lock my PC, and you will see now the network flyout has been updated, and now it has the same design that you will see on the notification area. Before, it included the same flyout that we used to see on Windows 8.1. In Action Center, there are no significant updates, but now when the toast is dismissed while you're writing a content on the text box, the content will now be saved and it will stay accessible from the Action Center. On Windows 10 build 17.063, Microsoft is also introducing Timeline. This is a new experience that can be accessed with the new Task View button right at the bottom of the taskbar, or you can also use the Control tab keyboard shortcut. Actually, it's the Windows tab keyboard shortcut. This new experience is an extension of the Task View feature that allows you to access your running applications, as well as the ability to resume activities that you were working in the past. Activities are in the cloud and they're organized into cards, which they are actually deep links to specific content within an app, documents, or web pages. So you can quickly get back to the task you were working in the past on your current PC or other Windows devices, including from iOS and Android phones that of course you're using with a Microsoft account. You're always going to see two rows of activities for each of the 30 days that you can access. But you can always click the See All Activities button to view all the cards for a given day, and they are even sorted by hour. Using Timeline, Cortana will even be able to suggest to resume activities across devices, similar to how the assistant already does with websites. You can also use the scroll bar on the side to find and get back to an activity where you left off. There is even a handy search box that you can use to get to activities more quickly. With the introduction of Timeline, you are not losing any of the Task View features. As you can see, you will still be able to access your running applications, and like before, you can continue to use Virtual Desktop. But this time around, to create a new desktop, you have to click the New Desktop button that is located on the top left corner. As you can see, you can still create as many desktops as you want and switch between them. Initially, only some applications will support this feature because it is up to developers to modify their apps to support Timeline. But as we move forward, we're going to start seeing more and more apps this experience. Of course, you can always configure how this information is collected in the new activity history page located in the Settings app. That we will look in more details when we go through all the new changes for the Settings app. In this release, Microsoft continued to improve My People, and now you can drag and drop people to rearrange them in the taskbar. You can now pin up to 10 people to the taskbar, or you can pin all your contacts to the taskbar using an overflow view. My People will now also suggest apps that you can connect with this experience. You will see a new animation letting you know when a contact is pinned in the overflow list in the flyout, and you will receive emotive notifications from all your contacts. It is always good to see updates on Microsoft Edge. In 17.063, the web media extension package for Microsoft Edge will be installed by default. This means the various open source media content such as the OOG, Vorbis, and Theora will be supported by default. Microsoft Edge now supports service workers, push, and cache technologies by default too. These are exciting new features that brings more of the modern web to Windows 10. Using service workers, developers can deliver a much better web experience to users, improving performance when browsing offline or using a limited network connection. Thanks to these new APIs, some websites will be able to work offline to improve performance by using locally cached data, push notifications to Action Center, and refresh data in the background. In this new update, Microsoft Edge also delivers a new dark theme that improves contrast, darker blacks, text, and icons. Let me just switch to the dark theme so you can see how now it looks like. The light theme has also been tweaked, and now it is more transparent. And you will notice that the reveal highlight effect is more visible using this theme. In addition, the reveal highlight effect now can be found in the navigation buttons, action buttons, tab buttons, and across the experience. Other improvements on Edge include icons on the address bar are now smaller than before. You can hide the name of favorites individually by right-clicking the favorite and selecting the show icon only. You can now hide the favorite bar without having to open the browser settings. Just right-click the favorite bar and click the hide bar option. And you can now bookmark EPUBs and PDF files using the same flyout menu. If you're using a precision touchpad, you can now use gestures like pinch to zoom or two-finger panning. On Windows 10 build 17.063, the Settings app is also getting a makeover. The new version of the experience include a new homepage design, much like Control Panel, using small icons and titles aligned to the right. Acrylic material can now be found in the left pane when navigating sections, as you can see right here. The homepage button now uses an house icon. The title bar on Settings no longer shows the color of the theme, as you will see on other parts of Windows 10, such as in File Explorer. So even though if you have configured to show colors in the title bar, that would no longer be the case for the Settings app. The experience also uses the updated reveal highlight effect that is more visible when using the light theme. On System, on the display page, under Scale and Layout, you can now access the advanced scaling settings, where you will now find a new feature to fix scaling problems automatically. When you enable the new feature, if an application becomes blurry as a result of a remote session, dock or undock, a touch notification will pop so you can let Windows fix the application without having to sign out and sign back in. You can now also override the global DPI settings in the compatibility tab for an executable program. Under the settings section, you will see a new change high DPI settings, where you can override the settings the way you want it. In the storage page, you can now remove more temporary files from this experience without having to open this cleanup. As you can see, it's a longer list. You can delete files for Windows Upgrade log files, system created Windows error report files, Windows Defender antivirus, thumbnail cache, temporary files, recycle bin, the previous version of a Windows 10 installation, temporary internet files, deleted optimization files, and DirectX jitter cache. The multitasking page now includes a timeline section that allows you to turn off suggestions within the experience. It does something that you don't want. On devices, the Pen and Windows Ink page now includes a new drop-down menu that allows you to change the font Windows 10 uses to convert your handwriting into text. In network and internet, either the Ethernet or Wi-Fi page. Now when you go to the adaptive properties, you will now have a link to access the data usage page to set data limits. In the data usage page, you will see an updated experience that allows you to configure data limits and background data restriction. You can simply select the adapter from the drop-down menu and click the set limit to adjust the data limit any way you want. And at the bottom, you can also restrict data to help reduce data usage on a selected network adapter. I don't have a cellular connection, but if I have in the cellular page, I could now prioritize connection and use cellular connectivity instead of a Wi-Fi, or when the wireless network around me is not reliable. In personalization, in the taskbar page, you can now find and configure more My People options. You can now choose how many contacts you want to show, or if you want to put them all into an overflow view. And you can now turn on and off if you want My People to show apps suggestions that you can connect with this experience. On apps, the apps and features now includes a new manage app execution alias. So basically apps can declare a name used to run the app from the command prompt. If multiple apps use the same name, you can choose which one to use right here. Also, in the advanced settings for a particular application, you will now be able to access more settings. For example, in the Facebook app, you will see a new app permissions section that allows you to control the features that this particular app can access. For example, location, camera, microphone, and background data. Depending on the app, these permissions will be different. You can set the app as default. Just click the set default apps link and change the settings on the default settings section. If the app is not responding, you can also now terminate it from here to close all the related process for that particular app. This is the same as going to Task Manager and kill the app from that experience. And of course, you also get the reset and uninstall buttons if you're having other issues with this of other applications. But remember that the settings available is going to be different per application. The video playback page now includes a new tool to calibrate your display for HDR videos. I don't have an HDR monitor, so it doesn't look right in here, but if you do, you will be able to just click play and calibrate your monitor. In accounts, setting options, you can now set security question for your local account if you didn't do it already. If you are creating a new account, a new local account, while setting up a new device or using the family and other people settings page, you'll be prompted to incorporate security questions as part of the process. These security questions will allow you to reset your password in case you forget it, so you can regain access to your account from the lock screen. So let me just try to create a new account. It has to be a local account. This is only supported for local accounts. So I'm going to click this link, and I'm going to click this link, and you will see now that to create a local account, you now have to answer 3 security questions. On time and language, the regional language page has been updated and now shows icons for each language entry to indicate if the language supports text-to-speech, speech recognition, and handwriting. When adding a new language, you will notice that the experience has also been updated to find and install languages more quickly. The keyboard is a new page that allows you to add new keyboard layouts, and you can now change the default keyboard independently of the display language. Inside the options page, you can now configure touch and hardware keyboard settings for a particular layout. In the advanced keyboard settings, you will find additional options to switch input methods and to configure touch keyboard and emoji settings. On gaming, game mode page, you now have a new reset button that will allow you to bring back default game mode settings for games that use game mode on your device. On ease of access, the narrator page, under choose when to start narrator, you can now configure to use narrator settings before login. And you now have the ability to use the caps lock +E keyboard shortcut to send feedback when the experience is running. In the audios page, now there is a new link to change sound settings, which will open the control panel sound settings. On Cortana, on the notifications page, now you have a new options to enable or disable pick up where I left off suggestions to resume activities. On privacy, on the activity history page, this page is not new, but it's been updated, and here's where you can control the settings for timeline. Here you can filter activities per account. You can stop Windows 10 from collecting your activities on a particular device, and you also have the option to clear the activity history if you just want to reset the timeline, or you're having issues and nothing is showing up or is crashing. You can come here and click the clear button to clear the history of timeline. On many of the pages, including camera, microphone, account info, contacts, call history, emails, tasks, and messaging pages, they have been updated to include a new option to prevent Windows 10 and apps from accessing a particular feature globally. Also, the documents, pictures, and videos are new pages starting with the Windows 10 build 17.063, and they allow you to allow or deny apps in Windows 10 to access your files. On Windows Update, the Windows Update page doesn't show too many changes, but for example, the wording that used to be here to describe Windows Update is no longer here, and the links has been rearranged, and now you have this order to change active hours, view the install update history, and to access advanced options. And that's basically all that's new with the settings app on Windows 10 build 17.063. Other improvements included on Windows 10 build 17.063 includes a touch keyboard that now supports a split layout, which for some reason I don't have it on. Oh, here it is, right there. So now that's new. Also, Windows Defender Application Guard, which adds an extra layer of security while browsing the web using virtualization isolation, is now coming to Windows 10 Pro. Before, it was only available for Windows 10 Enterprise, though I wasn't able to get it to run, so I think it's a feature that might be coming in the future. Starting on this build, Microsoft is also retiring Home Group in favor of modern sharing tools. such as the new sharing experience and OneDrive. So if you go to File Explorer, you're no longer going to find Home Group or anywhere on the operating system. Microsoft also starting to retire the All Paint app in favor of the Paint 3D. You can still access the All Paint app, but you will now get a product alert that lets you know that this app will be replaced with Paint 3D. If you use the Windows subsystem for Linux, you'll be happy to know that process now can run in the background even when the console is closed. You can now run Linux instances on elevator or unelevated mode. Before, you needed to either run all your instances elevated or all your instances unelevated. And the Windows subsystem for Linux now is supported on remote sessions. And that's pretty much all that's new with Windows 10 build 17.063. Remember to like the video, leave your comments, subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and I just hope this video was informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.